What's up, everybody? I'm Wayne, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. I'm super excited to have Nadette here. You might know her as the queen of Roma Twitter, or maybe you've seen her at a Duncan James concert, but she is here. So glad to talk to her. Nadette, how are you doing today?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, and I've known you for quite a long time,
Yes.
and through Roma Twitter, and you are, I think, your opinion is like always one of the most sensible fans, very grounded, and that, of course, when you're logical, it becomes a respected opinion,
Uh-huh.
right? And you are actually an international Roma fan. You
Yeah.
are not from Italy. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from?
Well, I'm from Malta, which is a small island south of Sicily. It's an independent island, and there are only less than 600,000 people living here, but there are a few Roma fans.
Not so bad then. I'm gonna guess there's a Roma Club Malta,
There is a Roma Club
perhaps.
Malta, which I used to attend very frequently. I've since I kept in touch with them, but I don't attend as much as I haven't been there in a while, actually.
Gotcha. I'm very into language and learning about just different cultures and backgrounds. And I'm always trying to learn more Italian, but Maltese is different. It's influenced from English and what else?
Maltese is primarily derived from Arabic, but it's written in, it is the only Latin Arabic. It comes from Arabic first, but it's the only language not written in the Arabic format. And then it took some inspirations from Italian, French, and English mostly.
That's awesome. It's so unique.
Yes,
And
it is.
so when you say written in Arabic, you would mean from right to left,
Yes, that's
correct?
right. Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
couldn't find the right words.
yeah, that's okay. um, so we're here today. I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of like how you became a Roma fan. And I think that's my first question for you is,
Yes.
given that you're not from Rome and I'm not from Rome either, what is Nadette's story? Tell us a little bit how you became a Roma fan.
Okay, so basically, I didn't like football. I used to think it was overrated, and I liked wrestling actually at first. But then the 2006 World Cup came along, and someone, just a random bus driver, asked me, "Who do you support?" And my dad he's always sided with Italy and Sampdoria, Roma's heartbreaker. And um, I said, I don't know, I don't watch football, but maybe Italy. And then somehow I started watching matches, and I came across Totti scoring that amazing World Cup goal where they zoomed on his eyes against Australia. And I said, whoever Totti plays for, then I'm all for it. That was it, basically.
Yeah, so 2006.
Yes, it's been almost 17 years now.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you just
Yes.
made me, geez. 2006 was 17 years ago. I
Yes.
was 16 years old 17 years ago. That's wild. I remember,
I
I
was,
know exactly you're talking about that look, like as he was
yes, it was
approaching the
amazing.
penalty, correct?
I mean, it was obvious that he was going to score. So it meant so much more. And then I said, whoever this guy that I was playing for, I'll be there. And I am, even though he's no longer there.
Yeah,
He's been such an inspiration to me, actually.
it's not dissimilar from my story because it's 2002, which got me into Totti and then Roma following that. So that's very funny. And in my mind, 2002 and 2006 are like 100 years apart. But in reality, because I was like a preteen and then I was
Yeah.
16 years old at that time. But that's very funny how it's Italy, which both got us into Totti, and then so it's very much the same way where you see Totti, and once you learn about the fans though, and you see the Stadio Olimpico and the flares and the music and the cori, the chants, was it kind of like for you it just became like an obsession? Would you agree or?
Uh, it's the only I'm I think of myself as a fangirl a lot, but it's the only thing I never grew bored of. I would never be able to leave Roma because my heart and soul is into it.
Oh,
That's so yes, I definitely agree.
yeah, you're giving me the feels. I'm feeling like in my heart because I know what you're talking about. It's like even when the team doesn't do too good, it's almost like you know that there will be another day. It's like you never ever want to give up on these
No,
players in this
definitely
team
not.
because you love them, you know?
I mean, I've seen the different teams over the years go through so much, and we finally been rewarded with a cup, and I'm so pleased and I'm so grateful to the team
Yeah.
that I'm happy that it happened. So it's okay if it doesn't happen again for a while, though I like the feeling of success. But I mean, we're Roma fans. We know the feeling of waiting. We're
Yeah.
patient. We love the club. We're not there for glory like most fans of other major teams. We're not used to that winning feeling all the time. You win a derby, we don't win,
Yeah.
we don't win the Champions League, but it's still everything.
Yeah. We know nothing is owed to us. Whereas I think if like
No,
you're
no.
a Juventus fan, you expect success every season, but it's different.
Yes, that's right.
Have you ever been to a game at the Stadio Olimpico?
Just once, I'm afraid. Uh, it was a spur of the moment decision when Roma drew Barcelona. And besides being a Roma fan, I'm also a big Messi fan. And I wanted to see both. And I wanted to see them at the same time. They were playing each other. And it was the 2015 match where Florence scored that wonderful, wonderful goal. And I'll never forget it.
Mm, it's a beautiful memory. And you
Yes.
say Messi, and I remember reading on your Twitter recently, you said not mainstream except for Lionel Messi.
Yes, he is now, isn't he?
Yeah, and no, but it's true though. I feel the exact same way. It's like you don't want to just go with the norm, what everyone else likes or does, but then it's like you look at this incredible alien, and he does things which are like magic, and
Yes.
ropes you in, right?
It's been like that for me since I think 2007, 8 that I liked Messi. So I wanted the success for him.
Me too.
So I'm very happy it finally happened. So it was a good year for both Roma and Messi.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And Dybala gets in there as well.
Yes, I was
Um,
very happy that he scored the penalty
yeah, um, me too. And this might be a silly question, but is Rome also your favorite city in Italy,
in the world.
in the world?
Of course.
Brava,
I've been 5 times.
brava.
Yes, I love
Awesome.
it. It's so beautiful. I mean, I'm an art historian. I like art. I study art. And if you walk around Rome, you see art everywhere around you. It's history. You will understand me, Wayne. I mean,
Yeah,
of all people. And I don't think there are more places that are similar to it, but for me, seeing Rome, seeing all of the art and the architecture, and then for me also having the football team that I love so much, it's all in one basically.
yeah. And you reminded me, you spoke about your background in art history, which you worked on very hard. I know that you did for a long time. You had a very funny and popular tweet. Was it Caravaggio? I forget what the comparison was.
I think I started with Caravaggio, then I stopped comparing the football matches to paintings because I was getting insults because people were thinking I'm comparing the situation, but I'm really not. I'm really looking at the work of art. It
No,
was quite
yeah,
fascinating, yes.
I like
I
that.
think it was
I thought that was
Guido.
awesome.
Yes, I remember you highlighting it in one of your videos, in fact.
It was very cool. Me too. I mean, I'm more into just because of my schooling. I got really into like Renaissance artwork, like Masaccio and Giotto,
Oh, that's
like a little
beautiful. Yes.
pre-Renaissance. I really enjoyed. However, I think that's such a funny twist that you put. It's original, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
my two loves, my two great loves.
yeah, yeah, it's awesome stuff. I would like to get like we just for our a wedding gift, we got like this really long lithograph of Florence actually, and I got to
Oh,
put that up somewhere. You know, it's like there's it adds such character, I think, to a room. Like just like right now, we're like in the process of renovating my room. But if you just had like a couple pieces of classic artwork, like it just, I don't know, there's such a feeling to it, you know,
I agree. In fact, most
especially
of my belongings have artworks on them, painted, printed. So
and with your background, like once you understand the depth and the history and the techniques
yeah.
that they used, it's a lot. There's a lot to it.
In fact, when we go to football matches, it's usually a culture trip for me as well. The
Mm.
last match I went to was in Florence, so
Which
we toured.
museum did you go to?
Um, this time we didn't have much time, so we just toured the outside of the museums because I've been to Florence 2 other times, so I went to every museum there is possible.
Like by the Uffizi where they have the statues of
Yes. Um,
Machiavelli and
yes.
Donatello and everybody.
The Uffizi, the Bargello,
Yeah,
and
Bargello.
I cannot remember. There's so many, and so many churches as well.
Yeah, it's true. Nadette, right now, Roma sit tied for sixth. Looking at my
Mhm.
chart with Atalanta, who have 27 points. Roma is actually, because they lost the head-to-head, they're in seventh. Up ahead
Mhm.
is Inter with 30 points, who are tied with Lazio on 30 points. Not just your opinion on the season this far, but what does Roma need to do in order to get back into the
Uh-huh.
top four? But let's start with, what do you think so far? What has gone good? What has gone bad?
Well, I think the problem has been consistency and injuries. I I don't give up on Roma because Roma, I mean, lost 6-1 to Bodo Glimt and then went on to win a cup, the same cup. So I wouldn't give up just yet. But I think I think Roma have missed Mkhitaryan terribly, and also Wijnaldum because he was injured, and also the time that we lost Dybala. I think we've made do with what the team has quite well. Not me because I don't do anything. I just sit around and watch. And considering what's gone on through the season, it hasn't been too bad, but there's certainly room for improvement. And I believe that the team will do well. Not necessarily in the first match they come back because I know it will take time to adjust from such a major event like the World Cup. But I think maybe playing the basic amount you need to in order to win matches the Mourinho way, which I'm grown to really like. You don't need
Yeah,
to win 4-0. You just have to win.
just get the 3 points.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, I think the first things you touched upon there were consistency and coming
Mm-hmm.
back from injuries. So the one that we can't control so much is injuries, right? You never know what's going to happen. But right now we come back with Vinaldum, Dybala, we get help with Solbakken. So like immediately I'm optimistic. And I think you also make a really good point in that it's going to take a little bit of time. Just, Roma's got a few tough matches straight away. Bologna and then
Yes.
Milan, right? If you take 6 points away from that, out of that, that would be incredible. That's like the maximum. However, if you take 3 or 4, I think that's also a success in its own
Uh-huh.
self. But that consistency, I think that takes time. And a lot of, I've been there impulsive as younger fans is, and sometimes just maturity, you have to understand, like, if you want to build something from the ground up, because this Roma very much was from the ground up. If we look 2-3 years ago under Fonseca and where this team has come over the past 5-6 years, is that these success does take time. And I think that's so
Uh-huh.
hard for fans. It's like you have to reset all the time. It's like, no, we have to understand that there's a big picture here, new ownership, Zaniolo's back, Spinazzola's back, all of these injuries have mounted, and just understanding that projects, if you want to build chemistry and a winning mentality, and none of that comes overnight.
Definitely, and you need to give players their time because I mean, if they've come back from an injury and are getting used to playing together again, it's tricky. And the most important thing to me is to give everyone time. So I don't like it when I see people offending players. I don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
at least not publicly.
Yeah.
Some of them read the comments. It's not fair on them. They are people like us, and they're in the
Yeah.
spotlight. It's already difficult.
Yeah, they're young people. It's so true. It's important to
Most
remember
of them
that.
are younger than us. So,
Yeah, it's
so I
true.
understand that it's hard to adjust.
And speaking of young players and the whole roster that we have here, I have a prediction who your favorite player is, but his last name starts with an M. Can you tell
Mhm.
me who is your at this
Well,
point in time?
I usually tend to shift between favorite players because I love the whole team really.
Mm.
But yes, I do love Mancini.
Mancini.
Yes, and I like in spite of what people might say that he's rough, I think he's passionate mostly, a bit like me when it comes to Roma. And he does need to calm down a bit, but I see passion in his eyes and the way he plays for Roma. So maybe there are better players than him, but the way he plays for the shirt is quite significant to me. And it reminds me of Nainggolan just a bit. Maybe some people will jump about when they listen to this, but Nainggolan was my favorite player for a long time at Roma, so I know just what I'm saying.
Nadette, I never thought of that comparison, but there's a lot of truth to that. Where
It's
Nainggolan was this
passion.
guy, yeah, he passionate, wore his heart on his sleeve, always showed up, was tough. And I think sometimes Mancini's growth has been underrated in this
I think so.
past, 12. We look at 2022. The player that finished 2021 of Mancini is not the same one who just finished this past year. I think he's come a long way actually under
I
Mourinho.
believe so. I believe so, and I don't think it's fair that people say he doesn't score the goals. Yeah, it's not his job. So, I mean, he's doing his job. He has great partnership with Ibanez. I really like that. And if he can avoid some silly mistakes which come across from anger, I think he would be a much better player.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what I was just gonna add, but I think that he really is like a strong point, a reference point of this defense, especially as Chris Smalling will get older. As he enters his mid-30s, there needs to be this new leader in the defense. And I think that he's developing into that player.
Sincerely, I think it's the same for Italy. I think that he could be the next person. Maybe he won't be as strong as the person before him, but that's okay. I mean,
yeah,
he will grow. He's 25, 26, I believe. So my age. I'm not doing anything out of this world at this age. So
let's see. Yeah, he's 26. I
26.
didn't realize. I thought he was a little older. I thought he was about
No,
28. It's only 26.
no, him and Pellegrini are the same age.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a big failure next to them.
No, you don't have to feel like a failure. You're very successful. You achieved your master's, correct? Or
yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, so you're on your way.
Thank you.
You kind of remind me a little bit, in a way, of this show I watched called My Brilliant Friend, the Elena Ferrante novel, and it's on HBO. It's popular in the United States. At least the book is. I don't know if the show on HBO is, but the main character, I think her name is La Lucia, kind of remind me of her in a way. Very smart, intelligent. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's a very good show. Where can we find you on Twitter and or Instagram?
Well, on Twitter, I have the handle I had when I was 14, so that's Mrs. Duncan James. I didn't remove it because people know me like that, so it's okay.
Yeah. And you told me that actually Duncan James he's not longer your favorite. He's no longer.
I've grown up a bit. I still respect him a lot. I have another Duncan now. It's Duncan Lawrence, so I'm a fan. Yes. And I still kept it because I really am a fangirl at heart, so that's okay.
No.
And on Instagram, I'm as Nadette and X after it.
Nadette X.
Yes.
Cool. Nadette, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I'm hoping you'll be back on the channel one day soon.
I hope so.
You're a fan favorite. I hope you know.
I am? Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
So, okay, we'll talk more.
This has been great fun.
Thank you. And I'm excited, not just to talk about culture, but maybe we'll add in a little art history and we'll do some looking at, paintings from the 16th century compared to Roma players today.
Definitely, yes. Okay.
All right, we'll talk soon, Nadette. Ciao.
Thank you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.